Hello everybody, welcome to the ÉISG podcast, an intern survival guide, where we teach you how to survive in Paris and during an internship at an indie festival. We have new hosts every week with different topics each time, ranging from music, fashion, tourism, but above all, independent cinema. We hope you like today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next edition of ÉISG's Intern Survival Guide. Warning, this podcast occasionally contains strong language which may be unsuitable for children, unusual humor which may be unsuitable for adults, and lots of LGBTQ plus jokes which may be unsuitable for assholes.
Welcome from the heart of Paris in another episode of ÉISG Intern Survival Guide. Today, as a host, we have me, Julia, and as our guests, we have Amber and Luana. And today we'll be discussing a topic that I think a lot of people have asked themselves and a lot of people have considered throughout their lives, which is the personal relationship of the film to the filmmaker or to the person involved in the process of making films. And to start off the podcast, I would like to ask you guys a question of what role did film play in your household, in your childhood, early, late childhood?
You want to start? Should I start it out?
Go ahead.
Well, growing up, my parents have really emphasized showing and like exposing me to like film, because the thing is that they were film buffs themselves. Like they loved like Jerry Maguire, like all these like Tom Cruise action movies, but then they also liked like the like Shawshank Redemption, you know. It's like in the 90s and like the 80s, and like also growing up like in the 70s, like my dad loved like Al Pacino films and all of that stuff. So like and so like I feel like they always quoted it like in households and stuff, and then like they'd say something and they'd be like, what, you don't know, I didn't show you this film yet? Oh my gosh, you have to see it. Because like they really emphasized like, you know, they thought of film as like such a culturally important thing, because like, you know, look at modern day stuff like Saltburn, like it's already like causing like a ruckus amongst like, you know, young adults and like, you know, shaking things up culturally. So they think of films in that way, like where it's very culturally important. So like in a way, showing like your children this is culturing them, you know, making them more exposed to like other countries, other like ways of life and everything. So
definitely, yeah. And I think also every country has a bit of a different culture and different approach to film.
Sure.
I remember from my childhood, one of the most distinctive memory is something that is now completely extinct, and that is the film rentals. And I remember going with my parents to a film rental and just going wild there.
The ritual of picking a movie, like this is the one for the weekend.
It was like every week or the other week we would decide as a family which film are we picking, and you know, you could only choose one mostly because like the fees were either like too high or didn't make sense to rent so many movies.
Exactly.
And it was such a habit, it was such a ritual even, I'd say. It was amazing.
Did you guys have blockbusters? Or was that like a thing in Europe? I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm from Brazil. And in Rio, where I lived, where I was born and raised, there was actually a blockbuster really close to my house. Nice. So yeah, we would just drive like 5 minutes. We'd arrive at the Blockbuster, take our movie, and then watch it immediately.
Oh my gosh, I miss Blockbusters. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
In my city, there was something that I think was kind of copying Blockbuster, but it was called Beverly Hills Film Rental. So
That's hilarious.
I don't think it was related.
That's adorable. Yeah. No, and then like also Redbox. The Redbox is like a thing in the U.S. where like they have it right outside of like grocery stores, where you could just put in like a buck and then like get a movie just from the film selections that they had like on screen. It was like a vending machine for movies essentially, which was really cool. And then sometimes you would get like it started becoming a problem because like when you get like you have to return the red box, otherwise you get late fees and stuff. That's the case for everything, but people would just since like Blockbuster, they have to check the DVDs. Redbox, you have no human interaction. They'd return it, or you'd get one, and it would have like a piece of paper in it, or like a rock in it or something, and you'd be like, oh great, shit, can't watch my, I don't know, like Nacho Libre on like on movie today. So that ruined my day. It was terrible. So they got rid of Redbox. Sad.
And of Blockbuster and Beverly Hills.
What an era, though.
Yeah, what an era.
Yeah.
Right
amazing.
now, I feel like film is kind of it has lost its ritual.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, physically.
At least family. I wonder how it looks in like children who grew up now. You know, when you just put on Netflix. Oh my God, I sound so old. You know.
Yeah.
Accessible. It's really accessible.
It is.
Like you can like click, choose a movie. You can stop it. You can do whatever and come back.
That's true.
It's accessible, but it's taken for granted, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we can do it too with rented movies. Like we can stop, but it's something we would take more serious because we would take it more seriously because it was harder to get.
It's harder to get, exactly. The accessibility is like makes you appreciate it in some ways. It's just like music too. Like the distribution, how it is now. It's like it's like, oh yeah, like of course I've heard of that, you know, but like for kids back in like the 80s, they're like, did you buy that record? Oh, you don't have it? Come over to my place and we'll listen to that record, right?
For example, like in my house, we would get a movie like in Blockbusters and we would definitely like make popcorn to watch the movie as a family, like late in the evening.
It's like a treat,
that's
rather than just white noise.
If we evoke the treats of early childhood, I'm gonna move on to the second question, which is, which film do you remember watching for the first time?
Well, I'm also in doubt between two, but I would say High School Musical 1.
Fire.
I'm a simple girl. I'm a simple girl. Maybe High School Musical 1.
Hell yeah.
Or I don't know if you ever heard about it. Actually, it's called, I just searched how it's called in English, and it's called Fly Me to the Moon. Basically, it's a movie about 3 flies who get in a spaceship and go to the moon.
I know it.
And basically, it's funny because I didn't know, but it was the first ever animation to be made for 3D.
Oh, I see. So it was like the like stop motion, or made into 3D.
Yeah, no. It was like made beforehand, knowing it was gonna be a 3D movie.
Oh,
so
I see.
And when I found out this information, I noticed that I remember seeing it on 3D.
I thought I had only one specific answer in mind, and that was WALL-E, which was basically the epitome of what 2000s animation is for me. But also, if you think about the actual plot, it's so weird where it has been targeted to children.
Like, why is that?
Children's dystopia, you know?
I think that's why.
It is. And first of all, it scared me a lot. I was like, oh no, I don't want to become like the people controlled by
like that's us in the future. Like fat people floating everywhere. Like that's insane. Like that's literally that's scary.
And the second one, I actually do not remember the title, but for sure you will know what I mean.
Okay.
And that is one of the Adam Sandler comedies.
Okay.
Where he was a cop in a mall, and the mall got...
Mall cop. Yes.
Exactly. On
Isn't
this.
it? Yeah.
That's
Paul Blart. That's Paul Blart. That's like that's not Adam Sandler, I don't think, but it's like he's another fat dude in Hollywood. But like Paul Blart Mall Cop. I loved that one.
This was such a weird genre of film, subgenre called specifically Adam Sandler comedy.
Yeah.
In every single one of them, he's just doing the exact same role with a little bit different of an outfit.
That's actually so true.
It got the Hollywood in chokehold for such a long time.
Something that's really funny, it's because I have it really present in my mind, like the voice of his Brazilian version, like of the Brazilian version of Adam Sandler.
Like that must be insane.
Yeah, like because it's a really like I feel every Brazilian knows. It's a really distinct voice.
Did you also? I mean, it's mostly a question for you since you got the original language, but did you also have something called a lector, which would be a person talking over the original sound of the film and doing all the dialogues? It would be just one specific voice doing all of them. It was so weird. It was either like a middle-aged man or like an elderly woman's voice.
Oh my gosh!
And they were doing every single role roll.
Yeah.
It was only
yeah. Was that a thing in Poland?
It is. It was.
Oh,
it was
wow.
a thing. Now it kind of faded away. But
Okay.
I remember growing up, every foreign film would be like that.
Wow.
I mean, why paying a lot of voice actors if you can just pay one to do all of them?
They're balling on a budget. I understand.
Also, the sound effects would be.
Really?
They would
They'd be like thump thump, but like in a Polish accent.
No, they would be like
kablow.
hearing steps.
Yeah.
It basically was like an audio description, but everybody would.
For every sound in the film.
Yeah. For every dialogue, for every.
So you're stomping up the stairs. You'd be like stomping up the stairs. Oh, that's crazy.
Like the main character, Adam, is walking up the stairs. Adam is riding on a Segway.
Like we didn't know that. Like as if it's like not right in front of us on the screen.
And it wasn't an audio description, which was like for people who don't see. Obviously, it was like a normal phenomena that I guess people would follow. And thankfully, it faded away. And this was one of my strongest memories of Polish film, which transfers us back into another question, which is like, which film evoked the strongest emotions in you, and what emotion was it, or which emotions were it?
Such a hard question. I had to think about this for a little bit. But I, at least really recently, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I think that like a lot of people can say that it's a soul moving movie. It's not just like a oh, like that's so sad, like he died. Like it's, the thing is, they don't die. Spoiler alert, no one dies. Besides like the baby that gets aborted in the movie. Anyway, like but like, you know, no one dies, but like it's the thing, it was just like such a wistful and like temporary, ephemeral like romance, and you wanted them to be together so badly. And it was just like, it was so gut-wrenching to not see such a beautiful love, like, you know, be able to, you know, be together, and you know, so just because of the customs of old age, like, you know, so I think it was cool, and I'm sure, I'm pretty sure it was based off of a book. It's like I think it's a film.
Really?
I think so.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I think it is, but
queer movies have it often in the plot that they end very tragically.
Right.
Sad. I remember watching the Children's Hour from the 1930s.
With Audrey Hepburn and Katharine Hepburn.
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
Adaptation. With
Adaptation.
Audrey Hepburn,
Audrey Hepburn,
The play is based off a play from 1930s, but it was adapted into a film. And I remember it was just so tragic. But I know that I think it was like a rule in Hollywood that if you wanted to include queer characters in a film, the story would have to end badly so that the audience would know that what they're doing.
Like it's teaching them a lesson or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it was allowed to be in there.
Right. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And like it's the same with like even Call Me by Your Name. Like it's supposed to be like a, you know, movie about romance. That's what the director says, right? But you know, the end of where with Timothy's like by the fireplace, staring through the fireplace and wanting to like die inside, you know, like it's still maybe a testament to this day that like a lot of queer movies still end like that.
Totally,
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Luana, in terms of emotion?
I don't know. I'm a really indecisive person. So I don't know. I think it's better to say the one that most recently made me feel and
anything goes.
Yeah, and think a lot. It was a movie I watched actually this week. I watched it on Monday, and it's called The Chimera. It's an Italian movie by Alice Rachfaker. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. But it was an amazing movie, and I think it's still on cinema, so if you have the opportunity, please go.
I will watch it,
It's amazing, and it's also on the same line as your film. Like, it's not that people die, like, it's not part of the plot. The character is already dead. Anyways, and I after I watched the movie, I couldn't stop crying.
Wow.
Because the movie was just so beautiful. And it was so well directed. It was so well composed in this sense. Everything was gathered together in such a beautiful way, tied up well.
And for me, I think the film that invoked the strongest emotions in me, it was something that I watched way too young of an age to be doing so. and that is a 2001 film by Wojciech Smarzowski, a Polish director, called Curation, and it's a psychological thriller / horror about a doctor who goes into a psychiatric hospital to study it from the inside, and during the process he kind of loses contact with the outside world and the people who were guiding this experiment. So he's just perceived as a normal patient, and that's the whole film is just about the terror of being stuck in a mental facility without a way to go, with everybody thinking that you're a different person than you actually are. And I think that was that really invoked lots of fear in 13-year-old Julia. And the second one is not a film, it's a work of cinema too, but it's it's the ending of season 2 Fleabag.
I have not finished season 2 Fleabag.
You should.
I watched on the flight to Paris, and like I was like halfway through, and I was like, "Damn it, I have to get off the flight." But like it looks so good.
The empty frustration and just unfulfillment that it left me with.
The "it'll pass" line. I know that's
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly, and it's hard because like you watched it, right?
Yeah, I did.
You kind of understand that it had to be like that, but then again, you just wish it turned out different. And I think that's
it's similar to Portrait of a Lady on Fire, I would say.
That's it.
It's the big gaping, void that you feel like this could be so much more.
Exactly.
Because it's something that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than your will. Like even though they really wanted to be together in both cases, in Fleabag and in Portrait of a Lady on Fire, it won't happen.
It won't.
It just won't happen.
Logistically, it's impossible. And it's just so. It's like it's what could have been, and it's so close yet so far type of thing, and then that just causes so much dissonance within you. You're just like,
definitely.
You're like, it needs to be this way, but it's just not going to. It's abrupt and it's terrible.
Tragic love. Tragedy of love.
Yep.
Definitely.
And now let's move on from these hard and difficult topics and go on to the next question, which is, what film or moment made you realize you want to pursue film in one way or another? And I could start with that.
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah.
I had 2 moments. One of them was a middle school presentation for my literature class that I had to do, which covered the topic of All Quiet on the Western Front, the first adaptation. I forgot which year it was from.
Amazing, yeah.
And I was really into poetry all my whole life, and it made me realize you can translate poetry and literature onto screen and onto image, and that was something that just blew my mind during that time. And the second time, it was actually quite recently. It was last summer, 2023, the Polska Film Festival in Berlin, which is the festival of Polish film. I went to one of the after parties, and I just talked to the directors and the filmmakers, and I realized, these are just normal people.
You'll find it's the same thing over there too. It's like these are just normal people. They eat lunch and they have to drive home to their wife and kids and stuff. It's just
exactly.
Chill. Yeah.
I mean, you got the perspective of LA, of actually the mecca of filmmaking, I'd say.
Right. Well, it's cool, but it's so human at the same time. Everyone forgets it's not what it is on screen. It's not what you hear in the papers and stuff. It's literally they're there to do their jobs and just do cool shit and be creative creative beings, and they're not heartless monsters. These are people that are full of passion and life and stuff like that. Yeah, but they're just a regular dude that still needs to he goes home and he makes his awesome.
And you?
Amazing.
Well, in my case, I think the film that brought me the most interest to the world of filmmaking and cinema itself was probably Rear Window. Or maybe Psycho, both by Alfred Hitchcock. And I don't know, in my households, cinema was always present ever since I was a child, because my mother specifically, it's a huge movie buff, and she actually showed me
everything,
all the big names of Hollywood, and it was where I started from. And when I watched Rear Window, it was where I understood that, wow, old movies are cool. Like,
what came with that was an obsession for me, an obsession like in middle school. And I knew I was like, uh-oh, like this is something that's gonna stick and it's gonna stay within my personality. It's gonna be my whole being. Is when, like, you know, I was in, I think it was 8th grade, so like middle school, at least for Americans. I was just, I started making like a list on my old little phone, like my little Android phone back then, of just 100 plus 80s movies, just from the 80s decade. Like, cause like, I had first been introduced to Pretty in Pink and like, you know, like the John Hughes films, like with like, you know, 16 Candles and stuff. And Ferris Bueller, yeah, I was obsessed with just the idea of coming of age, and it relating to me so heavily. Right. So then like that, and that it stabilized me in a lot of ways, and then it provided an escapism, and then I just fell in love with it from there. You know, of making long lists of like every single decade after that. Yeah.
I feel like it's been a form of escape and form of creating your own reality for a lot of us, you know. Yeah. That films always provided the stability of no matter where you are, no matter how are you feeling, you can transfer yourself into
that world.
Different.
Definitely. Like, I don't know how you perceive it as an American, because all of these movies like John Hughes, they are in like American high schools.
Oh yeah.
They're always it's always American high school, right?
Chicago, yeah.
So I don't know, I was like just a weird kid.
Yeah.
So when I watched like 16 Candles, I could just see like, wow, like this girl is having such a great time.
Blast in high school,
She's also a weird kid, but wow, like so
Pretty
many
Pink and,
exactly. So many cool things are happening to them.
Yeah, exactly. And like I wanted that so badly. I was in middle school, so like I'm looking up to these like high schoolers, right? And I'm like, that's what's gonna be my high school experience, you know, like wanting that for yourself. And
that's same. But like I got so disappointed, and then I ended up in a high school in Eastern Poland, you know? Where the cheerleaders, where the jocks.
Yeah, exactly. Where the cheerleaders. Yeah,
exactly.
Ferris Bueller was my icon.
Oh, he's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's the coolest.
You know what was my biggest dream and also my biggest fear? Like the whole social dynamic of a high school cafeteria. There's the table of cool kids, there's the table of emo kids, there's a table of like jocks and everything.
And there's the kids who eat in the bathroom.
Yeah.
They really sold that to you.
I think now we're gonna transfer to also a little bit of a deeper question, not involving Gregory Heffley. And it will be, how would you describe the art of a filmmaking to a 16th century peasant?
Not on a technical level, right?
I mean, you could also try technical level, but I think they wouldn't understand either way.
Yeah, but it's also funny because photography didn't even exist.
No,
exactly.
Look, girls, cinema is maybe the art of transferring reality. Like we create our own reality in a parallel sport, and through this we can create our own stories.
Definitely.
Maybe using the literature as like as a reference, but saying that basically we can transfer this reality in audio and visuals.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the few arts that actually lets the audience be put behind the eyes of the director, of the artist, you know, and you can see kind of the thought process, the perception, what the artist focuses on, what do they see as important, how do they see certain stuff.
Right.
And I don't think many disciplines do that. With music, you can.
Yeah. I think so too.
I think it also complies so many different disciplines of arts, music, camera.
It's a composition.
Exactly.
Of things, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I 1000% agree. It's the first one where you can really see into like the thought process and like look into the brain of the person. And like, you know, put yourself in that place, and like I sit there and I watch a movie and I'm like, oh my god, you fucking genius, I didn't think about that, you know. And like so I totally get that. I would probably reference theater, like right, so it's like, so okay, it's not a real scenario, but like there's gonna be actors, there's gonna be like people like on a stage, but it's gonna be like more, but it's gonna be try to attempt to be less obvious that this is for show. It's trying to take you into another reality type of thing.
Exactly.
Because it also takes in consideration points of view.
Yeah, absolutely.
So each sequence, each shot, it's something thought about. So we have to incorporate a lot of different things to make a film.
Exactly. So it's such a complicated question.
It is.
And on a technical standpoint, but then an emotional one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like, trying to convey emotion as authentically and as and try to give the audience that emotion. And I could say like the closest thing to that is theater for 16th century present.
That's true.
It's actually a great reference.
Yeah.
Right.
But also a theater, and what it differs from cinema strongly is that in its origins, theater was supposed to be like comically the traits that actors try to portray. They're supposed to be traits, not real characters.
Right.
You know?
Right. Caricatures.
Yeah, caricatures. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think with film, the complexity of it is
way more. It's absolutely.
But I mean,
there's more depth there, I think. Yeah.
in medieval theater, there wasn't probably much
no,
depth going on.
No. Also, way less materials and things to use. It's like there's not as many props, you know, and like.
Although you know that like medieval theater was wild, you know, that the
tragedies.
The Shakespeare theater burned down, right? You know.
Yeah, the Globe. Yeah.
But one of the reasons why there were like so many different fires of like theaters is because
they had fire.
They would put in like special effects. Special effect of a fire was just creating a real fire.
Right. So how about perfection of theater? It's like because you have multiple shots too. It's like you're trying to perfect essentially what theater is doing in one not in one take, but like just capturing it in a perfect image, but they don't even know what an image is. Capturing it in a perfect moving portrait.
Which probably a portrait they saw like two of them in their life.
Yeah, exactly. They're like.
But I wonder if it's fair to put it this way, like that cinema is a perfected version of theater, because I think both of them propose different experiences as a viewer.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think especially the fact of having the actors there in front of you. It causes you a different emotion, and the artistic choices involved in theater.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. I feel cinema. We enjoy cinema as it is because it's a pre-made experience, right? Like
it's
something. Yeah, exactly. It's something that they had the opportunity to shoot and to angle their way exactly, to incorporate music, incorporate text, incorporate rumors, and in theater, I think it's also the art of
you only have one perspective, right?
That's it, and also the art of fate in this way, because anything can happen in the theater.
Absolutely.
And the actors are led in a lot of different ways.
It's a lot heavier.
A show, that's it.
It's a lot heavier on like it is obviously real time, and in some movies it is real time too, and as in like moving props and like it's just so reliant. But like the thing is with theater, it's just so reliant on the people and like the trust of each other. It's a moving clockwork for sure. But I mean, you could argue the same for cinema as well. But it's just a little bit more.
When you cut off that human element, which you do by having the ability to take as many shots as you want and complying to the perfect vision of the director, which then again we kind of go back to the seeing through the artist's eyes.
The artist's eyes in the brain.
With theater, I think you see it through your own eyes. You feel these humans. You feel that they're real. That something is happening. That you feel their histories. You know.
And
it's pretty reliant on the viewer. Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And depending on the story, like. A lot of things have to happen at the same time. For example, the moving of the background and everything happens in front of your eyes. So I think it provokes also a different impression, a different. It instigates you in a way.
I think for me, I don't know, sound effects on stage are so amazing and so influential to me. Like when I hear an actor stomp really loudly and just the echo going through the whole audience, it's piercing.
It's a 3D experience almost.
It is. And also like the fact that you cannot really control the volume of what's happening. Meanwhile, in a film, you can put it on your headphones, put it on your speaker, put it in a huge screen. It's all gonna be different. On stage, you're just there. There's the stage. There's an actor. You know.
You're left to the mercy of the technicality.
Exactly.
There. Yeah.
You're not in the control of what's happening.
Right.
I think that's why theater survived so many millennials. You know.
Yeah. Because it's so impressive.
Because
in terms of that,
I feel that theater is really pathetic. Like in the original meaning, like from pathos, which is like the capability of evoke your feelings. Like you interact directly with the actors, and it's like a shared experience. Theater is a really it's a really heartfelt experience. And I don't mean that in cinema this doesn't happen. Like we were talking about feelings in cinema for the last 20 minutes or something.
But it's way less of a collective experience
that's
as well.
That's it.
It's way less communal. You're sitting there and then actually you're being told to shut up. Like, and you're like experience it for yourself and however you decide to interpret it. But it's like a theater, they're forcing it on you, sort of, you know?
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
And in a way, you're kind of locked to not get distracted by anything. You know, with cinema, I feel like right now, all of us, whenever we watch something on our laptop, we also scroll our phone. There's some stuff in the background. Here, you're in a dark room, the only lit up part is the stage. Experience it for 2 hours.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Also, like, but in the cinema, like, you shouldn't do it, but there's also people that like go on their phones and like you know like they like it's,
we don't like that.
Yeah, no. Like everyone's experience with movies are way different, I think, and so it's like I feel like in theater, it traps you there. It traps you there, but then like with movies, it's like you have the ability like to pause the movie or you know
that's
that
another
as well.
thing. You choose when you want to experience what you want to experience.
Exactly.
You know, you cannot pause a play.
Exactly.
That's another way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that was like sort of off topic. We didn't fully answer the question, but yeah, it was fun.
I mean, it's also a key to help us understand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To present the pros and cons to the potential peasant.
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult question anyways. How to explain cinema to a peasant?
Peasant? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, okay, we can do nobility if you want.
Yeah, nobility, right.
Yeah, okay, and I think bonus question, and that is, and it's going to be our final question for today. If you could get the chance to appear of any set of your choice through past, present, future, what would it be?
I would have loved, just because I'm obsessed with the characters, maybe I have two answers. Tombstone is a 1990s cowboy movie, Western. When you think of Western, you think of like, you know, like the 70s, what's his name? Like the, you know, the classic American
spaghetti western.
Yeah, like spaghetti westerns, right? And then, but you don't think of it being in the 90s at all. Like, but so like, what was that doing there? I have no idea. But Tombstone had Doc Holliday. It was like a story of like Doc Holliday and like, you know, taking down cowboys and stuff. But like the cast was so star-studded. It had what's his name? Oh my gosh, he was the one that was also in Top Gun. Val Kilmer. He was just so badass in that movie, and to see him act would be insane. He's one of my favorite movie characters, will always be. So that would be awesome to see that like in real life. And then maybe any this is like a kind of an obvious one, but I think the clockwork of a Wes Anderson film would be awesome to experience in real life too. Just like how
any I think for me to be Grand Hotel Budapest.
The Grand the Grand Budapest Hotel. Yeah, that was a great movie. Maybe for me it would probably be like Life Aquatic. Life Aquatic was like one of his.
I love this one.
Funny little it was funny, and a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of critics didn't like it, but I love that movie.
I love it.
I think it was just seen in my household a lot. But yeah, like Owen Wilson and like Bill Murray, like they would be so freaking funny to
They
work
are
with.
hilarious.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
The movie is hilarious.
Yeah. Or just any comedy movie too. Anything that I found funny, like I'd be like, oh man, I wish I was on set like of that, like The Office or something.
Oh, the Office would be really good.
Yeah, but that's a TV show. It's not fun.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Well, I don't have any idea. I don't know. I feel I've been really interested recently in Jean-Luc Godard. And I know that most of his movies he didn't even shoot with a script.
Oh, yeah,
I'm really interested by that. Like, I would love to be in a set of one of his movies to understand the dynamics behind everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, Pierrot le Fou.
Pierre le Fou.
I don't know how to say this in English.
Yeah, Pierre le Fou. I don't know. Pierre the Crazy.
Pierre
the Crazy, but we watch it. We have to watch it in French. Yeah.
I think I would like to be in this cool. Set maybe to understand, and also to see Jean-Paul Belmondo and Anna Karina together.
Anna Karina, rest in peace. That wonderful
amazing.
woman.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Film without a script. This could be really amazing to witness that.
Absolutely. What about you?
For me, it would be. I'm really into the subgenre of film of Vietnam War era films, and for me, I think it would be Apocalypse Now.
I was gonna say
for the set, for the scenery, for the opening credit scene. It wasn't CG.
No,
it wasn't CG. Exactly.
No.
I would just like to witness this exact napalm going on.
Right. No.
This was crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it's the journalism in you for sure. Like you wanting to see like the nitty gritty and the ugly. You know, that's amazing.
I think for today, I would like to thank you for participating and
thank you for having
us.
Joining.
Thank you for inviting us to come.
Yes. For joining me at this very kind of spontaneous episode. And
this was a lot of fun.
And to the audience of ECU Intern Survival Guide, prepare yourself for the upcoming podcast, which I will try to make professionally.
Yes, every single week on Fridays.
Every single week on Fridays, exactly. Yeah,
so tune in for our yapping.
Yeah.